So hello everyone. So let's start this session right now. So let me share my screen.
Okay.
So before we start, are there any newcomers to this chapter? Is it your first event over here at Code Academy JO chapter? Okay, cool. So let me introduce myself. I'm Ashwin Bharat from Jain University. So I'm a senior software engineering student. I'm also a full stack software engineer. I can build front end, back end, and database stuff and connect them together. So I am also a community leader at Code Academy JU chapter. So those who are interested in tech, you can join our chapter and become part of the community, right? So I'm also a technical blogger. I have written around a couple of blog posts on Medium and Dev, and all the hacker known and websites like that, right? So I've also reached around 10,000 user rates, and it's got popular. So you can check them out as well. So this is my GitHub account. Okay, so let me share my presentation. I hope my presentation is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So let's start this session. Okay, so before we start, so this is our today's agenda. We'll be uh, going through what is GitHub, and understanding the GitHub workflow, and we'll also have a practical session. And finally, before wrapping up, I'll give you some bonus tips on how we can improve your GitHub account as well, and we'll be wrapping up. So before starting out, so I would like to hear out your introductions. You can use your mic or chat. So Venkat and Bust joined early, so they are also beginners into web development and machine learning. They are really interested in Git and GitHub. So others, if you want to introduce this, you can go ahead. We have three of our core team members over here. So I welcome Pojita, Girish, and Nitish Patel. So they're part of the you know uh, managing the Code Academy JU chapter. So they've been with us for a long time. So others, would you like to introduce yourself? You can see two new faces. Okay, can you use your chat or mic, anything that you want. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Okay, so okay, good. So let's start. So let me give you some prerequisites. Okay, so those of you who are completely new to Git and GitHub, you can check out this website where we can download the Git bash for the Windows or Mac OS or Linux. Generally in Mac OS and Linux, Git is pre-installed, so you don't need to worry about it. So if you are on Windows, if you go ahead and you can download the Git bash from this website. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Take your time and do it. Okay. And there's also another prerequisite. We'll be using GitHub for hosting account. Okay, so you can go check out this website, and again take around 5 minutes, and keep both of this ready. Okay, so within 5 minutes let's come back and we'll be continuing this session. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, so once you complete, you can say you have completed in the chat section. So when everyone is done with it, we can proceed, right? Okay. Okay, so Abbas is ready, and yeah, Venkat, you have it out. So what is the advantage of using git bash over git cmd? I actually have installed git cmd. Okay, so the difference is that whenever you are using right, so yeah, just a second. So whenever you are using git bash, right, so it will work like a terminal which is actually present in Mac and Linux. Okay, so there are some basic command line commands that you can type. So there's a difference in two operating systems, right? So there are some commands which will work in your right in your git bash, which will not work in your basic terminal, or you know just a second. Yeah, so that's the difference. Like, some of the commands may not work in git cmd, but you can still proceed with the basic commands. So both are same. I generally most of the time use Windows command line only, so you don't need to worry about that. So okay, so let's move on to our discussion. Okay, just a second. So first of all, I would like to give you some idea about what is the difference between git and github. Okay, so they are not both the same, just like how car and carpet are not the same. So there's a very big difference in both these technologies, I could say. And so let's start with git. Okay, so git is a version control system. Okay, so before git, we had something called vcs and other technologies which were actually handling the versions of our software. Okay, let's say we have around nine participants over here, right? So let's say we are all working towards one single project. Okay, let's say we are working on a small web development project, and we would like to contribute and work together in the same project, right? So generally what we do, we'll be using our own laptop, and we'll be creating the code files, right? And we'll be using our project files and we'll be saving it. So let's say I want to get the changes from you all, and I want to integrate the features that you have been working on, right? So if I try to do this like physically, getting your files either through some social media, I get your files and I try to integrate. So that will be very tedious, right? Will be you. I will have to check each and every feature that each and every person that you have built. I have to kind of copy and paste, and it is a long tedious process, right? So in order to avoid that, what we can do is we can use Git to save the versions of each of our project files. Okay, so, and GitHub is where we can collaborate. So when I said we are working all towards one single project, right? So we can use GitHub to host our Git projects. Host is nothing but we can upload it on GitHub. So GitHub actually acts as a server, right? So behind the screen, GitHub is actually nothing but a cloud platform, we can say, a cloud platform where they use servers to save our code, right? So that's the main difference. So moving on, there are some special features in Git. One of them is that Git is a highly Git stores high value versions in the local repository. Okay, so I'll be using the word repository a lot of times. So repository is as simple as a project only. So project is called as a repository in the technical terms. It's just a technical term. Okay, so we use Git for this reason only. We will be using Git to make sure that we save all of our code properly, and we can collaborate with each other using GitHub. Okay, so I will tell you more about what is versions. Okay, so what I mean by versions are nothing but, let's say I was like integrating one of your features, and it kind of what could I say? So let's say I built the project to certain extent, and that project was working properly. When I was integrating another person's feature into my project, it got kind of it stopped working. Okay, so in those cases it is very difficult to kind of go back to this previous state, right? If we are not using any technologies, let's say, we'll be trying to reverse engineer how and all we added the new features, and we'll be trying to cut the code, we'll be trying to delete the code, right? So in order to avoid all of this, what we can do is we can directly use a version control system called Git, and what it will do, it will take a snapshot. Okay, it will take a picture of your code till wherever you are built till now, and it will save all the versions that you have been working on. Okay, so that's why Git is very popular. It can save versions, and we can easily revert back to the previous changes that we made. Okay, so yeah, Abbas, do you have any doubts?
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So where will Git save the versions on the local computer?
Yes. So when I say Git, right? So Git is actually residing in our local repository only, our local project only. Okay.
Okay.
So most of the time, what we'll be doing is we'll be using Git in our laptop or a computer or PC. Okay. And what we'll be doing all the changes, and we'll be saving it. So whenever you are using GitHub, you are doing nothing but you're just uploading the files to the
To the server.
yeah,
Acha.
exactly, to the internet, we can say. So it is residing somewhere in the internet, right? So we are uploading over the server. So you'll get more clarity when we get into the practical part. Okay.
Okay.
So okay, cool. So moving on. So this is the difference that I was talking about. So Git was first developed by Linus Torvalds actually. So Linus Torvalds is the one who created Linux operating system itself. So he is the founder of Git as well. So it was developed back in 2005, and what Git does is it will be installed and it will maintain a local system rather than in the cloud. Okay. So what do they mean by this is, like, whatever the versions that we are doing, right? So even Bus, right now you had that doubt of where are the versions saved. It is saved in our local computer only, right? So that's why we use Git. So all these versions are saved in a local computer rather than a cloud. Okay, so one thing that like I said, Git sets apart is it has a really good branching model. So we'll be looking into what is branches, how we can take a branch and how we can merge a branch and all later on. So that's why Git is very popular. It's a high quality version control system, whereas GitHub is designed to act as a Git repository in the servers. Okay, so basically behind the screen what happens is GitHub is also kind of a version control system only, but so what the difference is, GitHub is actually a service or hosting service where we can upload and download the project files that we share with it. Okay, so it is actually cloud based only, right? So even recently what happened was GitHub was acquired by Microsoft around 2018. So it's a really good hosting service and popular as well. So moving on, let's understand the workflow of Git. Okay, Git and GitHub, what actually happens behind the screen. Okay, so these are the main technical terms that we'll be using like while performing the practicals. So if you don't understand the beginning, don't worry, I'll be giving you more clarity once we have going through the practical part as well. So here we have two parts. Okay, so one is local part and another one is the remote part. So this local is nothing but our computer. Okay, so whatever we are doing within our laptop, just disconnect it with the internet. Okay, just forget internet, forget GitHub. So whatever we are doing in the laptop, so that's where we will be using Git. Okay, so we have three stages available in the three steps that are happening in while using Git in our projects. Okay, so first one is the working directory. So the working directory is pretty simple. It is actually the folder itself. Okay, so let's say you are building a website, you are using your HTML files, CSS files, you are saving it in a folder, right? So that folder is called as a working directory. Okay, so what you will do after installing Git, you will be performing multiple Git commands like this: git add, git commit. These are all Git commands that we'll be using in order to kind of take this project and have that versions in our system. Okay, so when we perform git add, so what happens is we'll be putting our code into a staging area. So we'll be adding our code files into a place called staging area. Okay, so staging area is simply a rough place where all of the changes are saved. Okay, so you can take an analogy over here. Let's consider a marriage function is happening. Okay, so let's say there's a marriage function and we are all guests to that function and we want to take photographs, right? So Git will act as the photographer itself. Okay, so what happens is in this working directory we are all guests and we are kind of waiting to take that photograph. Okay, so what Git will do, so when we type git add, so we'll be going to that stage part. Okay, we'll be going and standing near the couple who is getting married and all. So we'll be staying over there and we'll be ready to take pictures. Okay, so once we went to the staging area, when we'll be performing this git commit command, what happens is that Git will actually take a snapshot, a picture of your code base itself. Okay, so whatever changes you have made till now, right, that will be saved properly as a version. Okay, so it is similar when we come back to this analogy. So whenever that photographer takes a picture with the couple on the stage, so that photograph is saved in his camera, right? So that photograph that he takes is actually the Git version of our project. Okay, and till then whatever changes we are committing, that will be as part of the local repository. Okay, and whenever we want to upload our pages to the GitHub hosting platform, that's when we will be using git push and git pull and all, right? So this remote repository is nothing but the GitHub platform itself, So when we'll be performing the practicals, we'll understand more clearly. Okay. So let me show you. Okay. So let's start the coding part so that you can understand really these concepts pretty clearly. Okay. So let's get it to be telling in a fun way. So let me share my entire screen for now. So is my screen visible? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So okay, so what we'll be doing first is we'll be creating a repository on our GitHub account. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so like I said, repository is nothing but a project only. Okay, so when you go to the GitHub, in your GitHub account, you'll be seeing a plus sign over here. So when you go to that and click new repository, a new project will be created over here. Okay, so let me go to this project and let me create a new repository. Okay, so this repository that we are creating in GitHub, right? So this will actually act as a remote repository that we were talking about. Okay, so let me create a repository called git and GitHub basics. Okay, so
Should we follow now?
yeah, if you want you can follow, that will be better for you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So as you can see, I'm creating a basic repository called git and GitHub basics. Okay, and I'm going to just give create repository. Okay, so once you do this, what will happen is you have actually created a remote repository on your GitHub platform, right? So whenever you want to share your project, all you have to do is, as you can see in the top URL bar, this URL is nothing but your hosted remote repository that you can share it with any of your friends or co-workers. Okay, so until and unless it is public, anyone can view this project. Okay, and go through this code. Okay, cool. So when we create an empty project like this, what will happen is it will be blank, right? So there will be no files present over here. And Git also gives some really good kind of ideas on what to do when you are creating a new repository on command line itself. So we'll be following this. Okay, we'll be following this. So let me open up desktop. Okay, and let me create a new folder. Okay, with the same name. So it's a best practice to use the same name for a repository. Okay, sorry, your repository as well as your folder name. Okay, so let's keep the naming conventions same. So I've created this basic git and GitHub basics folder in the desktop, and over the left I'll be using command line. So let me change the directory to the path. Okay, so yeah, just a second. Okay, so is my command line and folder visible? Can you guys confirm? Just a second.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. So as you can see in the left side, I have the git bash open up. Okay, and over the right we have the folder, right? So the first command that I'll be performing is let me show you the basic commands that we'll be using. So these are the basic git commands that we're using in our okay, in our project. Okay, so just a second. Okay, cool. So the first command we are going to use is git init. Okay, so git init simply means that it will initialize our empty git repository in the specified path. Okay, so whenever you want to create a repository, right, so what you have to do is you have to go to the folder that you have created. Okay, the folder that you are intending to create the empty repos creating as a local repository. Okay, so basically if I just go to the desktop, okay, if I show you this folder is there, right, so this is our working directory. Okay, this is a working directory and this will act as our local repository. Okay, so inside our local repository only we will be performing all of our git commands present in the left side, right, using git bash we will be performing all of the commits. Okay, so as you can notice in the folder, right, so there's a hidden folder created by git itself. Okay, so as you can see, if I go through this, there are a lot of files present over here. So what git will do is it will kind of use our files and save the versions in a really elegant way, and it will be hidden from the user. Okay, so this is providing like a layer of abstraction, you can say. So this whenever we use the git init command, so it will kind of initialize the empty git repository. Okay, as you can see this message as well. So the next thing what we can do is we can kind of add our files, and we can add our project files and so on. Okay, so what I'll be doing, let me use a command called echo. Okay, even if you check out the empty repository that is created in the GitHub, so there's a command called echo, right? So what echo will do, it will kind of push this message into this file name that we are going to create. Okay, so let me do this. So when I say echo, and I'm going to put git and GitHub basics. Okay, and this command what basically does is, when a file, we don't have a file called git readme.md, right? So readme.md is nothing but a markdown file which will be actually displayed over here. Okay, so whenever we are creating a project, right, so we need some documentation. So whenever there's a readme in capital letter, it is case sensitive. Whenever you create this readme.md file, so after pushing the code, you will see that it will be displayed in the GitHub repository in a neat way. Okay, let me create that first and show it to you. Just a second. Okay, cool. So when I try this command, as you can see, okay, just a second, let me try it again. Okay, so as you can see, readme file is created, right? So if I let me try to open it in Notepad so it is visible for you. So the contents what we have created, right? So whatever we give in this quotation marks will be added into this readme file. Okay, so that's what echo does. So it's a basic Linux command line command we can use. Okay, so we have now created this readme file, right? So what happens is this is now the working directory, right? So we want to add this we have to add this to our staging area. So if I recall what I was discussing, right, so currently we are at the first stage, we are at the working directory right now, right? So what we have to do is we have to add all our files whatever we have created into our staging area, right? So when I try to do this, what will happen is we are kind of putting all the code, and we are putting all of our files into the staging area. Okay, so when I try to do this, right, and after that, let me show you another command which is git status. So what it will do, it will say on branch master. I'll discuss about branches later, no need to worry. So there are no commits yet, changes to be committed, right? So what Git is suggesting is that there are no commits yet, you have to commit the new file created, right? So what we can do is now currently we are now at staging area, right? So when we want to save this version permanently in our Git repository, what we have to do is we have to perform git commit, okay? And we can use this -m, okay? Let me show you the commands. So this is the command I'm going to use, and when I do git command -m means a flag which is giving us a giving us the feature of adding some messages to our commits, okay? So as we are creating a readme file, let me say let me add a descriptive message stating that I have created readme file, okay? So when I do this, what happens is this version, right? This version at the beginning it was empty, right? But after that I created this readme file. So what happens is this becomes a kind of a version when we commit this changes, okay? So now when I check the status of our local repository using git status command, so what it tells is on branch master nothing to commit, working on tree clean, okay, right? So this states that whatever changes we have made till now, it is actually saved by git and we can proceed further, okay? So now what we can do is, what we are going to do is we're going to connect this GitHub remote repository to our local repository, okay? So in order to connect this, what we have to use is we have to use a git remote command, okay? So this git remote add origin was basically does this. Currently this local repository is standalone, right? It is not connected to the internet right now. So in order to connect to this particular repository that I've created on GitHub, okay, to host this project that I'm creating over here, you can basically use this use this command called git remote add origin, and we'll be using this URL that is given by the GitHub repository, and we'll be connecting this both, okay? So there are newcomers, let me add them, okay? So now let me tell you what is master over here, okay? So the master is nothing but the main branch that we are having in our GitHub repository, okay? So branches are useful whenever you want to create a new feature, but you don't want to work on your present working directory, okay? So whenever you want to do like this way, what we can do is we can create a branch and start a new branch and all, okay? So I'll be discussing more about the branches later. So there's a new naming conventions in GitHub actually, okay? So the main branch, the master branch is actually the main branch, okay? So they have renamed that master as main, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rename the branch name, that is using this flag -m, and I'm changing it to main, okay? Okay, cool. So when I do this, as you can see, the master is changed to main. Okay, we are doing this because in our GitHub repository, the branch is called as main. The main important branch, the only branch that is present is named as main, okay? So here it was at the beginning named as master. So in order to avoid that confusion, I am going to have main at both places, okay? That's why I use this command git branch -m main, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this command to kind of connect this remote repository to our local repository, okay? So let me copy and paste. So once I've added it, what I can do is I can finally push my code, okay? So we are actually, when I go back to the stage, we have already committed this, and the local repository now saved the version, right? So when we use git push command, it will be pushed, it will be uploading these files in our remote repository present over here, right? This is nothing but the GitHub repository. So when I give git push, I have to specify where I'm pushing it, right? Am I pushing it to the there are several let's say there's another platform like git as well, GitHub as well. I want to push there, or I want to push somewhere else. I want to push to my own server that I'm building. Okay, so we have to specify specifically where I'm going to push this command, right? So just a second. Yeah, so in order to specify that, what I'll be using is I'll be using origin main. Okay, so as you can see in the previous step, what we did is we have actually added the link to a remote repository, right? We have connected this using remote git remote add origin. So this origin is actually saved, this URL that is that we are giving is actually saved as origin inside our git repository. Okay, so when we specify origin, what we are specifying actually is this entire link only. So it is kind of stored as a variable inside this origin. Okay, so when we try to do git push origin main and I press enter, what will happen is now I'm actually pushing my code directly to my remote repository. Okay, so as you can see, the we get that this branch main is actually pushed to the code main. So if I try to refresh this over here, so what will happen is we see the readme file is actually displayed properly, and we have this readme.md file clearly visible. Okay, so this is how we use git in the local repository and upload it over here as well. Okay, so there are certain other commands as well, and as you can see, we have performed all the green commands present over here. So like I said, git status is nothing but to check whether our code is in working directory or staging area, or in our local repository saved as a version. So that's why we use this git status. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me I have these presentations and images that I used in my presentation. What I'll be do, let me add them over here. Okay, let me copy this over here and push it to my GitHub account so that you all can also access it. Okay, so what I'll be doing is, now if I try to see what is the status, okay, let me clear my file so that you can it is visible. Okay, great. So when I do git status, right, when I do git status, as you can see, what it will do, it will git will say that I have untracked files over here, right? I have untracked files in my asset folder. There are some images and there's the PDF over here, right? So what it is suggesting, as you can see, it is suggesting to use git add commit so that we can git add command so that we can put it in our staging area, right? So when I press git add again, all over again, and I'm giving this flag dash a or either, or I can also use dot. Okay, so what it will do, it will put everything that is present in my local repository into my staging area. Okay, so generally what we'll be doing is we'll be actually specifying each and every files like this, and that will be very tedious, right? Let's say I have a file called pull request dot, there's a file called pull request dot png file. Okay, so if I try to add this way, what happens is this file is actually added, but the other files are not added. So if I can show you through this status, as you can see, it is still not tracked, right? So in order to add every file that is present in our local, every new changes, right, these files are nothing but the new changes present in the local repository, I'll be using git add dash a. So this will include everything in our staging area, right? So now if I try to put git status, as you can see, it has detected new files, and what it is telling us to do, it is telling us to commit all these changes so that it can create its own current version, right? You can create the next version and you can save it permanently in the git repository that we have in our local folder, right? So now if I put git commit, and let me give another message as well using this dash m flag, let's say adding presentation files. Okay, when I do this, what will happen is all of these files, right, it is created in the new version that you have, that the changes that you have present over this local repository, and we have created this, right? So if I try to show you the remote repository, if I refresh it, the changes are not present over here. That's because we have not pushed our changes, right? So this changes present in the local repository, that is actually saved in Git local repository. Okay, so it is saved when we committed itself, but it is not saved in the GitHub account, right? So in order to save there, what we have to do, we have to do a git push again, and we have to specify where we are putting it, right? So origin is nothing but this URL present given by this GitHub, right? And main is nothing but the branch that we are specifying. So if I try to push it again, whatever changes, the new changes that I made, it will be visible for you in this GitHub repository as well. See, this assets as well as the presentation PDF file is present over here. So these are the very basic commands. Okay, these are very basic commands: git add, git commit, and git push. Okay, and git status, as you can see, we can use it for checking the status at each and every stage present like this, right? If I try to put git status again at the bottom, sorry, that's a typo, git status, as you can see in this, there's nothing to commit. We are working the tree clean, right? So this tree is nothing but how Git is storing behind the hood. Okay, it actually forms a tree like structure in this .git file, and it will store all of our changes in this file itself as versions. Okay, so now what I'll do, let me show you another command called git log. Okay, so till now we have made two changes, right? One was create the readme file, and second was adding all of the files, right? So when I use git log command, what it will do, it will show us all the timestamps, all the commit history till now that we have made in our local repository. Okay, so as you can see, it has included my name and email ID, and has given us the timestamp when did we commit this file changes, and what was the file change message. As you can see, the first commit is present over here. It was committed Saturday, October 9th, with the specified timetable time, right? 6:35, and this is 6:44, right? So this message also is going to saved, so that it is very as you can see, it is very clear, right? So this was we created this readme file, so it is very descriptive. That's why it's always suggested to put the message .m, as you can see, and save this version sort of in a form of a descriptive way. Okay, so as you can see, there are two versions right now present in our git file. So this is how we can see into the entire history using this git log command. Okay, so now this is all of the basics that you need as a developer, saving it in our GitHub repository as well, and making changes in the local repository. Okay, these are the main basic features, and there are two new commands that you can use for branching, creating a new branches. Okay, so I'll be teaching you now what is branches, how we can create it. Okay, so let me clear the file command line to make it clear. Okay, just a second. Okay, so till now, do anyone have any doubts? Can go on and ask. Any basic.
Can we just drag and drop the files into GitHub instead of pushing?
Yeah, actually you can. See, why we are not doing that is because whatever you are doing in your local computer, right? So let's say you are trying to kind of drag and drop everything and adding over here, and let's say this project is also having another, let's say you both of us are working on the same project. Okay, so if we try to do in that way, sometimes we can by mistake we can actually delete the previous changes and all. So in order to avoid that and all, so what we are doing is, like, we are using the git commands and all. Okay, so as you can see, like, when we drag and drop now, the changes will be present over in the GitHub repository only, in the remote repository, but nothing will be changed in your local repository, right? So whenever you are working in your local repository, and whenever, let's say, you want to go back to this commit, this readme commit, okay, let's say you don't want this files and all, you can very easily do this in your local repository instead of again downloading it from this place and changing it over here. Do you understand? Like, that's why we don't use the drag and drop feature and all. Okay, so now let us talk about the branches and all. What is this main, what was the master that was present before and all. So when I type git branch, okay, what it will do, it will kind of display whatever branches we have created till now and display it as the message. Right now we only have main, right, and the star is representing that we are currently inside the main branch itself. So let's say I want to create a new branch. Okay, let's say I create a new branch called feature. Okay, so let's say this is a new feature, and let's say I'm calling it as feature. Okay, so now if I type in branch again, git branch again, as you can see there are two branches as of now in our local repository, right? One is main, one is feature, but we are still currently in our main branch only. So in order to go to this feature branch and work some changes over there, what we can do, we can use git checkout feature. Okay, so any branches that we create, instead of feature, what we will be doing is we will be using our branch name over here. Okay, so if I press enter, now we have switched to the branch feature. As you can see, the message can switch to the branch feature. So if I try to check the branch status again using git branch, now the as you can see, the feature is highlighted in green color, right? So whatever changes we make now, it is actually going to get saved in our feature branch. Okay, so let me open this git basics again, and let's say I just create another copy of the same PDF itself. Okay, I have created the same copy itself, right? So when I try to see the status of our current local repository, as you can see, it is telling us that there is an untracked file, right? There's a extra file that you have created and it is not yet committed. So what I will be doing is I will be adding this file, right? I'll be using git add all, and I'll be committing this as well. Let's say so I'll put the message as copy of presentation. Okay, now if I want to push this code, right, so can I push it to the main? Till now, like whatever we discussed about branching and right and the remote repository, can anyone tell me can we actually push it to the main branch itself present in the remote repository?
You have to merge it.
Exactly, we cannot kind of push it directly, right? We have to perform another feature where we have to merge the branches that were created, right? So in order to do that, what we'll be using is first of all we have to push this code, right? So whenever we are pushing, like I have told you before, whenever I pushed before, I used the command like this way, right? Git push origin is nothing but our remote repository, and I used main before, right? So now as we have created a new branch called feature, instead of main I'll be putting it as feature itself. Okay, so when I push this code, this changes what we have created into this feature branch, and I open the GitHub repository. As you can see, it is asking for compare and pull request. Okay, so what happens is when I refresh it, there are two branches present in our remote repository. One is main and another is a feature branch, right? So let me go back. So whenever you do this pushing this feature, right, so what the remote repository will do, it will kind of show this button called compare and pull request. Okay, so when you click this compare and pull request, what happens is pull request is nothing but we are requesting the main branch to kind of pull the changes from the feature branch. Can you understand? So what it will do, it will kind of pull the branches, it will merge our feature branch into our main branch. Okay, So when I create this pull request, okay, when I create this pull request, what will happen is, so GitHub will perform the whether there are any conflicts, whether there are any changes over here which will affect when we push this changes. It will check those cases and all, and it is saying that no, this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. Okay, so when I now press this button, right, when I press this merge pull request and confirm merge, so what will happen is this branch is actually now merged into our main branch. Now as you can see, there is a copy of presentation as well. As you can see, this commit is visible, right? So this is how we can create branches and all, and we can kind of do the changes also. Okay, so now if I go to this commits that is present over here, right, when I go to this 4 commits, as you can see, whatever we have created till now, this commit messages are actually visible in the GitHub repository, right? So first we created readme first and adding presentation file and copy of presentation. If I press this link and try to go to this place, and what will happen is it will show whatever the changes were made in this particular version. Okay, so if I click browse files, now as you can see, all of other files are not present, right? So this is how you can actually use GitHub in to your advantage. As you can see, this was our first commit. Whenever I want to go to this commit and browse whatever changes I did in these files and all, and check whatever I did, so this is how we can use Git and GitHub. Okay, so now as you can see, there is a weird gibberish present in this place, right? First it was main, but it was showing this E and all, right? So this is nothing but the if I type git log again over here, as you can see, this hash is present over here, right? This 40 characters, this is nothing but the hash code that is generated by Git. Okay, so what Git does, based on the changes, based on the files that you have, it will create this hash and it will save it in the each and every commit that we do. So this will have a new hash, this will have a new hash, and whatever the files till this commits are present, using that all of these files only, this new hash will be created. Okay, so that's this hash basically is. Okay, so if I go to this main branch again and check the commits, as you can see, these are nothing but the only the 6 characters of the entire 40 characters present over here. Okay, so that's what displayed over here. So now I have merged over here, right? So now it is present over here, but we didn't merge in our local repository, right? We didn't merge in our local repository. So what we can do, we can go back to our main branch using git checkout main. Okay, and we can type git pull. Okay, so what git pull will do, so whatever changes was made by me, right, I created a copy of presentation and I did all of this in a new branch called feature, right? So let's say that feature was created by someone who is present over here, right? So you are the one who actually committed this, and it is present over here now. So this is how a lot of people around the world using this internet, using GitHub, they are actually collaborating with the same projects, like open source projects and all. This is how they are making changes and adding into their branches and all, right? So whenever I type when I want to get that changes that was newly made in our remote repository, I will use the command called git pull. Okay, so when I press when I type git pull and press enter, as you can see, what happens is the file, that copy of file that was created, it will be actually coming back to us. So just a second. Okay, so now when I was using git pull command, what git is now telling is, as you can see, that copy is not present right now, because we in this main branch till now we have not introduced the changes and all, we didn't merge it properly. So what it is saying is, we have to specify the branch you want to merge with, right? So in order to specify that, what I can do is I can git pull origin main. Okay, so if I do this and press enter, what will happen is, whatever changes were made in the main branch only will be pulled by this git command. As you can see, the moment the command stopped its execution, the copy is created over here, right? So this is how you can use branches and in our git and github, so that you can create new versions and you can merge it later as well, like this, and you can push and pull the commands and all. Okay, so this was all the basics that we were discussing till now, right? So that's about it. We are done actually. This is what we were, this is all of the basics that you need in your day-to-day development period. So thank you all for participating and have a great day ahead. So I am open to questions right now. If you have any doubts, we can start asking now. Okay.
Yeah, bro, I have a personal doubt.
Okay.
Actually, how to make the GitHub repository colorful, bro? Like, your GitHub
Yeah.
repository is like.
Yeah. I will. That's the bonus that we are going to discuss now. Okay. That's the bonus I'll be teaching you now. So let me.
Please also add like how to add the demo of the projects.
Okay. Sure. So I think others won't be familiar with what you are talking, right? I'll be telling how some bonus tips and all for you all, and to how to create attractive GitHub repositories and all. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Let me show my repository. Okay, so cool. Okay, now is the screen visible? Can anyone
Yes.
hear me? Cool. So as you can see, there are some few tips that you can take away from this event as well. So whenever you go to my profile, right? So this is my profile page present in the GitHub. There's actually a README file present over here. Remember that I told you, right? The README file will be displayed properly over this place, right, in your project and all. And this is where you add your documentation and all. Okay, so let me add some documentation. Okay, let's say so these are the basics of it. And let's say, let me put this descriptive description over here. And let's say I'm committing these changes in the repository, right? So now as you can see, this whatever documentation we put inside this README file, it will be displayed pretty clearly. This is how you'll be adding any documentation of your project. Okay, so this is how what you can do is you can there's actually two types of words that are present over here, right? So one is, this is actually my the Ashwin Bharat, right, present over here, that A and B is capital, right? So this is actually the username given to us when we are creating this account. Okay, so whenever you create a new repository, in your username itself, what it will do, it will create this special repository present, right? Let me open this up as well. This special repository, as you can see, the repository name should be same as your username. Okay, create this. As you can see, GitHub, what it will do, it will say it is a special repository. This README file will actually appear in your public profile. Okay, so as you can see, I've created some really good descriptive introduction and a lot of links, technologies that I'm working on, right? So this is like creating your Facebook profile or LinkedIn profile, right? So GitHub is actually a really good profile that will be seen by your future employers as well. Okay, whenever you are going to work on your IT industry, so they'll check your projects on your, right? So that's why it's a very good practice to have this neat profile building page and all. Okay, so as you can see, I created this good contribution graphs and all. I've added a lot of colorful and streaks and some visualizations and all, right? So I actually used several resources that I have right now. Let me share it to you. So one of the resources that you can use is this website called Awesome GitHub Profile. Okay, .tech. So in this website, what they have given us, they have given us a collection of every readmes created by developers. As you can see, they make their own repositories neatly, right? So they have given us their descriptions and color in a really good different kinds of ways. So this is how you can improve your this profile, okay, GitHub profile, and you can use this one repository, one website. I'll post it in the chat as well. You can check it out later. And there's another website that you can use, which is going to be very useful for you as you are starting your journey, which is GitHub profile readme generator. So you can use this website directly to create a readme file. Okay, so in readme file we use some special syntax called markdown. Okay, so in this markdown and all, as you can see, hashtags and all, and showing like headings and points over here, right? So there's a special language that we have to use to make it neat. So you can use this GitHub repository that is present over here, right, for generating really good readme files for your profile and all. So let me open. So whenever they host this website and all, they put this link over here. You can go to this website as well. I will share this in your chat as well. Okay, so let me load it. It's loading. So whatever you want to add in your readme profile page, you can kind of use this readme generator and fill some forms and all. And what it will do, it will kind of create a good readme for you as well. As you can see, whenever they're given us a pre-filled form like structure, right? So whatever technologies you can just give a checkbox tick mark, and at the very end you can also add your social profiles as well, Twitter account, GitHub account, LinkedIn accounts, and the extra content I've used, right, present over here, like this is actually this bar present over here. It will actually be updated every week. So it is happening because of special feature called GitHub Actions. So you can kind of use these add-ons present over here. You can see they have specified as GitHub Action, right? So what you have to do is we have to kind of create a special file. Let me show you. You have to create this workflows present in your GitHub repository. So if you go to actions and all, like as you can see, this blog post, whenever I put a new blog post, it will be kind of updated in this place as well. And for every week, this numbers and all will be changing, and you can check that out using this several like there are some links present. I'll be showing you just a second. Okay, let me share it. So this is how you can improve it. Okay guys, it is pretty simple actually. So if I try to show you like the markdown code and all, it will be looking like very gibberish and all. So we'll be using a lot of markdown syntax. You can check that out later as well. As you can see, these hashtags, I'll be using some HTML like structure also, right? So the images and all which are present in my readme files, it will look like this only. Okay, so this is how it will be displayed. Okay, this is how actually you can create your readme files and all. You can read more about it later as well. Let me and to add that actions and all, to put that extra metrics that I put it, right? So as you can see, okay, let me show. Yeah, so this visitors count present over here, this time zone, whatever I've given, these tricks, this is all dynamic, right? So you can use another blog post that I also recommend. Just okay, it's saved somewhere. Let me check it. Okay, so let's say for example, Okay, so think, yeah, so this is one website that you can see. Okay, I'll share it in the chat as well. So this repository, what if you just follow the follow it step by step, it will actually dynamically all of your GitHub statistics and all properly. Okay, so if you can go through this documentation and all neatly. Okay, so there are themes and all you can follow. So it is pretty simple only. All you have to do is you have to copy this code. Okay, copy this code and change this username to your GitHub username. As you can see, my username is Ashwin Bharat, right? So I'll be putting this over here and I'll be copy pasting into my readme.md file. Okay, after I did that, what you have to do is, if it is an action item, like if you want to update it properly, it will itself provide in this readme itself. You can go through that. Okay, so this is the like the main important part of this one. So you can check this part. Okay, you can check this readme files and all, and you can go through this readme code itself directly. You will get that idea where all they are getting this images and files and all. Okay, so it will be, they'll itself provide the link and all properly. So this was about creating a very attractive web your profile page in our GitHub. Okay, so this is how you can grow it. So let me share my, I have shared my GitHub profile link as well in the chat. You can check it out later for reference. So this was part 1, and let me also share it to you, like how you can structure your projects and all neatly. Okay, with animations and all. And okay, so let me show me, like this is my final year project that I'm currently working on. Okay, so when you go to this project and all, okay, so as you can see, this readme will be I've created this readme very in a descriptive way. I added screenshots and all. I added images displaying like what is unique about this project. So this is how you have to actually kind of showcase projects in your Git profile. Okay, so when I visit this site, okay, actually what you have to do is you have to give this in your resumes and all when you create good projects. Okay, so whenever you give us links, right, so let me show you my links as well, just a second. If I go to my profile page, you can actually check my resume as well. So what will, like, let's say any of who is going to check your code, right? So first thing they'll be checking is your documentation only. Okay, so I've also added, as you can see, a demo as well. So this is a recording I created about the project. I think it's loading for a second, just okay. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a recording present over here, right? So I added a GIF image. Actually, this is nothing but what I did was basically like I recorded using this software that I have called OBS Studio. Okay, it is like open source software. You might have observed this software while I'm recording this event as well, right? So using this software, what I did was I actually recorded this entire demonstration. Okay, like how I'm in this example, I'm logging into Facebook and all. As you can see, this one is like, this is like a Q&A platform that I created this project, and I'm adding this question and all, right? So I performed this and I recorded this entirely, and what I did was actually used an online a MP4 to video converter. Okay, let me show that as well. So after this recording it, what will happen is you can actually save that video, right? So that saved video, what I did was basically I converted it into a GIF file. Okay, using this online editors as well. You can check it out. And when you do this and showcase, right, you can actually when it is a video, it is very complicated to be displayed in your readme files and all. Okay, but when you are changing it into a GIF file, it can be actually presented as a image itself, and it will by itself start its execution, right? As you can see, it keep on going on, right? It is clean as well, right? So you can use this technique to kind of document your entire projects and all properly in our GitHub profile as well. Okay, so I've given all the links in the description, right? You can check my profile. There are a lot of projects that I've let me show you. Any repository you use it, right? Most of the projects that I've documented it neatly with the demo, like the Giphy file animations and all. I've added the this files properly and documentation properly. Let me show you a couple of projects for giving you some idea. Okay, so let me show you JavaScript files. So this is all bonus. Okay, so you can try to use these methods and kind of improve your GitHub profile. Okay, so there are like couple of projects that I did recently.
Yeah, excuse me, bro.
Yeah, yes, Girish.
Actually, not only me, many of the people are facing, that Hacker Fest. Like what is that actually? Can you just
Hacktoberfest.
explain us in small
Yeah.
detail?
Hacktoberfest.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me explain that as well. Okay. So like this is the let me show this 3 projects and I'll come back to this question. So as you can see, like I created this documentation, I've added the recordings and all, right? So this gives you more clarity about the projects and all. So this is like a bonus tip you can right? As you can see, I've added this documentation and all properly, right? So this is how we can improve your code accounts. There's another project that I did. Just a second. Right, so I also created a portfolio website as well, and for that as well I can kind of given as a neat description, like this is the demo, right, and features and technologies used. So this is how we can kind of give a neat presentation about and all. And there's a about section in our GitHub project as well. So if you press the settings icon, this this bold kind of thing icon, right? So give the description, you can give the website which is hosted, and the topics is nothing but the technologies I used, right? So whenever I put this much information properly, so as you can see, for each and every project it is visible over here, right? The description and the technologies that I presented. So this is how we can improve our GitHub projects and all. Okay, so this is the bonus tip that I wanted to give, right? You can use my GitHub profile as a reference also for any type of new projects that you're giving, for the readme section, as well as this any project that you create. You can kind of follow this technique also. Okay, so with this knowledge, what you can do is you can actually contribute to open source projects and all. And the Hacktoberfest is nothing but this is like it's like a community driven open source event that happens every October. So what they do is they will we can actually apply as a contributor also, or also maintainer also. Let's say if I want to create a project and I want to have some contributors like you, let's say over here, right? Let's say I want your contribution in my project. I will put a tag called Hacktoberfest. Okay, I'll put a tag called Hacktoberfest in my projects and all. And what you can do is you can perform some pull request in the projects which is given with this file, this tags, and you can kind of merge it. So that merging merging that features and all properly, that's what I was performing in this demo as well, creating this pull request and all. Okay, that's how you have to do it. So you can actually check the YouTube, Girish. There are a couple of tutorials on how to create a pull request, how to contribute to which projects you can contribute and all. Like you can check the YouTube for good tutorials that are provided by this website only. If you can go to Hacktoberfest, this website itself, they have given in this website itself, they have given you a lot of resources that you can follow. Okay, they have given rules and regulations and resources. If you go to this resources section, any doubts that you have related to creating pull requests and all, see, they've given you how to create your first pull request and all. You can check this resources properly, it to your open source projects. Okay, I hope I cleared your doubt. Okay, yeah, right. I think only now core team members are present, right? So let me
I had a
stop.
question.